Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show. Parts that could only be seen, touched, and used in evolutionary simulations have now been transported one by one. Zian was drooling watching. Look at that transparent star crystal optical brain that is only palm-sized like a disc. Can you imagine that this is one of the representatives of the highest technology of the human race in the universe? Just such a small star crystal optical brain, but the technology inside has reached hundreds of millions of supercrystals. According to the data given by the Infinite Brain Domain Group, this latest generation of Zian series entry-level star crystal optical brain contains more than 8 trillion supercrystals. Yes, read that right. It's trillions. 80,000 billion? If it is explained in the vernacular, human beings are miniaturized, or the universe is miniaturized, then this immortal mind star crystal light brain is equivalent to containing a star cluster. What are star clusters? Above the star system are large galaxies, that is, large galaxies such as the Milky Way. Above the large galaxies are star sectors. Above the star area is the nebula. Above the nebula are star clusters. And a Milky Way contains more than 80 billion star systems similar to the solar system. More than 80 billion. What you need to know is that the Milky Way is not big, and the Milky Way belongs to the kind of medium to small large galaxy. And what about the star regions above the larger galaxies? The star area is divided according to the number of large galaxies. A star area has a total of 108 trillion large galaxies. The nebula has 1080 billion star regions. A star cluster with 10.8 billion nebulae. The key is, above the star clusters, there are also star fields, star rivers, and star seas. The star field has 180 million star clusters. Galaxy has 1.08 million star domains. The Sea of Stars has 10,800 galaxies. And the human territory of the universe has 108 star seas. If you have to calculate how many large galaxies like the Milky Way the human race in the universe has, no one can count. It is conceivable how vast the universe is, and how powerful the human race in the universe is. But what is more important to know is that this is only a part of the universe, because the other two peak overlord groups, as well as the remaining hundreds of millions of groups, occupy almost 2/3 of the universe area. Universe. It's really too big, too vast. Zian Xingjing optical brain, even if it is an entry-level type, the improvement it can bring to the battle and the assistance it can provide to Zian are also extremely great. I didn't have money before, but now I'm doing it. Needless to say, energy shield. Separate shield device. Coupled with the core armor of the hull armor, engine part and cockpit part of the same space shield series. And Zian's subsequent quality improvement. Defense. Will at least double the original basis. Adieu. Go straight to it. How to evolve. How to evolve at this stage, Zian has simulated countless times in the evolution simulation. It has already been thoroughly cooked. Hardly any consideration. Start crazy evolution. Part by part, driven by the evolution value, was slowly absorbed by the original part module of the brilliant. After the absorption is completed, the corresponding metals and materials are then integrated to make it completely integrated with the original modularity and improve its quality. Every time it absorbs and fuses, it takes a certain amount of time. 7 days is already the fastest. After all, there are too many things to evolve. In this way, Zian began the selfless evolution of forgetting to eat and sleep for 7 consecutive days. When I was hungry, I ate the delicacies sent by Xiong'an, and when I was sleepy, I slept directly in the living room. He didn't care about everything that happened when Zian was in selfless evolution. The outside world is getting more and more lively. Because the special recruitment exam is coming, every student is working hard to cultivate and evolve their own starship. However, there are very few classmates who hunt and kill interstellar pirates. Star pirates. Not so easy to hunt. Didn't you see that Lan Kong who followed Wu Jing was blown up? Everyone is dead? Wu Jing was blown out of the starship. There are also 2 mechanical reconnaissance ships of the Federal Army. In Su Zian's eyes, interstellar pirates are too weak compared to Inhumans and Zergs. But for this group of students who have never really played Star Wars, interstellar pirates, that is a group of terrifying devils. Even mid-level scout ships and high-level scout ships could be killed at any time. Who would dare to take risks with low-level scout ships? Anyway, most people didn't go. I just kept cultivating there, trying my best to cultivate bioenergy, transform it into evolutionary value, and evolve the starship. For those with high talent, after 1 or 2 months, they are actually almost at the 2nd level. Those with poor talent are still hovering at the 1st level. But this does not affect their passion to take the special recruitment exam. That's a special exam. Passed is synonymous with genius. Will get better treatment. And directly recruited by the school. At the same time, the Association of Solar System Evolutionists, in the B-151 Evolution Factory. The gate of the Evolution Factory slowly opened. A future star that has undergone several evolutions shows its true face. This future star looks like a saw bag. Why do you say that? Other people's starships are so low-key. Only in this way can the enemy be the first to focus fire as much as possible in the subsequent battles with the enemy. But this future star, the exterior is sprayed with quite exaggerated fonts. Shao Kong? There are even personal photos on both sides. There are more than a dozen photos in total. All of them were taken by a young man in various poses. What is wearing expensive space armor, with his back facing a barren planet, with his arms folded and his face grim? What is holding a sword in his hand and roaring towards the front? The corner of his mouth slightly raised, revealing a cold smile. Etc., etc. It makes one's scalp tingle. I wish everyone in the world knew who the owner of the starship was. That's right. Such a flamboyant person is that classmate Su Zian. Often less empty. This moment. He looked towards the earth with a sneer on his face, and murmured in a low voice. Su Zian, in the past 2 months, I have successfully evolved the starship to the 3rd level, and the quality still retains the rare quality. When you met me, what do you mean? This time I will definitely press you into the soil and rub against it. Let everyone know. I, Chan Xiaokong, am the #1 genius in #3 middle school. I am the #1 genius in Lake City. Thinking about it, an idiot-like smile appeared on his face. With all kinds of cool and handsome photos on his starship. Absolutely 2 people. Su Zian, who knows nothing about power, has no idea that Chan Xiaokong next door is daydreaming about himself as an imaginary enemy. But even if he knew, it doesn't matter at all. Not give a damn about. Chan Xiaokong's starship has evolved to Tier 3. He is not surprised. Very simple. Because he has good parents. His father was the captain of the assault ship. His mother is the captain of the frigate. Protect him all the way to hunt and kill interstellar pirates. When the starships of those pirates are about to explode, let Chan Xiaokong take the final blow. Isn't the evolution value coming? Although that way, the evolutionary value obtained is much less. And only the level of the starship has been improved. Chan Xiaokong's personal Star War ability has not improved at all. However, it is enough to take part in the special recruitment examination. In fact, this is also the practice of most children of wealthy families. At this time, he has completed the last step. Actually, as early as a few days ago, the brilliant was already an overall red color of excellent quality. Now, it is only a matter of evolving the final balancer to a red excellence quality, so even a single screw and an internal circuit of the brilliance will become a red excellence. A truly brilliant red of exceptional quality. Its combat effectiveness, survivability, immeasurable, and the so-called balance meter. It is a device to keep the starship, or let the captain know whether he is in the ecliptic plane at this time. The ecliptic plane is an astronomical term referring to the plane of the Earth's orbit around the Sun. But that's a way of saying in the age of the Earth. According to the current interstellar era, the ecliptic plane is the parallel plane of the entire universe. The universe is not a parallel, but a three-dimensional. In the universe, no matter which angle you face, you are actually a plane. Standing, lying down, standing upside down, leaning, crooked, etc. However, this is obviously not suitable for the simple understanding of human beings. According to the current interstellar era, the ecliptic plane is to transform a certain plane of the entire three-dimensional universe into the ecliptic plane. Then no matter what kind of celestial bodies humans build in the universe, they all have the ecliptic plane as the front, or the parallel ground. Otherwise, the plane of the ecliptic is not set, then the buildings of human beings in the universe may be upside down or crooked. Don't you look uncomfortable? Look dizzy, okay. Therefore, the establishment of the zodiac plane and the interstellar era are mainly to unify the parallel plane of building and the parallel plane of human beings. The balance meter is an instrument that lets you know whether your starship is flying in parallel. Say it's important, but it's not. Say it's not important. It's okay when you're fighting alone, but when you're fighting with your teammates, how do you position yourself when the opponent tells you which direction to go? Is it positioned according to the side you are on, or according to the side he is on? It's different with a balance meter. Everything is positioned according to the ecliptic plane displayed on the balance meter, that's right. Finally, after an hour, the evolution of the balancer is complete. Since then, this all-red, excellent quality brilliance has completely completed its transformation. Red excellence in the true sense of the word. It is also the overall red excellence in the true sense. One step away from overall pink perfection, just one step away. How close is it? Recently, at this time, Zian only needs to transform 2 or 3 of the component modules, no matter whether they are important modules or not, and only need to evolve them to the pink perfect quality. Then the overall quality of the brilliant number can instantly become pink and perfect. But Zian thinks that is completely unnecessary. What's more, before a perfect quality evolution simulation has been performed. In fact, he didn't have much confidence in evolving the components of the brilliant to perfection. In case something goes wrong, it will affect the whole body, causing a big problem as a whole. There is no place to cry then. The evolution of your own starship must be cautious. Of course, the most important thing is, now, he hasn't started the evolution simulation of the second-grade evolutionist yet. Perhaps? Can I start the simulation of a second-rank evolutionist after I become a real first-rank evolutionist? Maybe so. Who knows? Don't worry about it now. The brilliant has completed its evolution. Zian's personal strength has also completed the leap from a second-rank fighter to a third-rank fighter. Name, Zian. Boundary, Warrior 3. Starship, Brilliant, Red Excellence. Bioenergy, 231. Evolution value, 73. Wealth value, 408. This is the latest data displayed by the system. As for the original 210 points of biological energy, it has now become 231 points. It's also very simple. On the first day, Zian completed the evolution of the brilliant to the 3rd level. Level bottleneck breakthrough. Then after 7 days, it is still 3 points of wealth every day and 3 points of bioenergy. Didn't add anything. Zian believes that adding 3 points every day is the most comfortable state for him at present. Less than 3 points, something is wrong. If there are more than 3 points, the body will be slightly supported by the huge force and feel a little uncomfortable. The evolutionist originally only had 52 points left, which consumed a full 400 points of evolution. Bioenergy increased, so it became 73 points. 73 points of evolution. It's almost enough to restore the radiance to 70% of its integrity in an instant when it is 90% damaged. Or when he was seriously injured and had too much air and less air, He recovered from his normal injury instantly and survived successfully. But in the future, when the level of the brilliant is higher, or when one's own strength becomes stronger, the evolutionary value needed will only increase. Anyway, the 73 evolution points, and the evolution points accumulated later. Zian planned to save his life. A lot of evolutionary value is equivalent to being born with one more life than others, or even a few lives. Just imagine the importance of evolutionary value. In another week, it will be the special recruitment exam. Zian's eyes flickered, then this week. I'll just move on to Star Wars Sims and Battle Sims. The last 2 days, pure rest, let yourself relax. Zian made a plan. This time, we must be a blockbuster and get good grades in the exam. Getting into my dream college. The Evolution Division of the Federal Imperial City Starship Academy. Wait for me, 7 days. Flashed by. Qin Shanchuan has already left. I learned Qin Shanchuan's identity from the chat. Unexpectedly, at such a young age, Qin Shanchuan is already the vice president of the branch of the Evolutionist Association in another star system in the Milky Way. Now he is a dignified third-rank evolutionary master, and he is usually very busy. He took such a long time this time just to allow Zian to pass the qualification assessment smoothly. He was thoughtful enough. And before leaving, he showed great enthusiasm. In the future, when Zian conducts formal membership assessment, he will be there again to cheer in person. Seriously. Although they clearly knew that Qin Shanchuan and Master Song Yu were all enthusiastic and friendly to them because of their master's face. There is one thing to say. I know this, but I must accept this friendship in my heart. Gotta admit it. Including the young man named Wang Xian, because he did not have enough evolution points, he could only leave with Qin Shanchuan. However, he made it clear that when Zian is going to take the assessment, as long as he has enough evolution value, he will rush over as soon as possible and offer the most generous reward with both hands. On this, Zian should welcome him. This day. Finally, the day came for the special recruitment exam. This special recruitment examination will be held in an extremely special place. Prison star of the solar system. The prison planet in the solar system does not imprison ordinary prisoners who have committed crimes. All those imprisoned are death row prisoners and war criminals. Most of the prisoners on death row are captured interstellar pirates. War criminals are mostly human traitors, even inhumans and insects. Detaining them has only one purpose. Prepare for the annual human race's college entrance examination. The special recruitment examination is also a college entrance examination, so the prison star can be used as the examination venue. The content of the test is also very simple. Just to see who can survive longer under the attack of these prisoners, or even kill them. If you kill, you will get corresponding points. Finally, look at the points ranking. This time, the top 100 colleges in the Earth Federation all sent representatives to the solar system. Select this class of geniuses. Of course, it also includes the Federation Imperial City Starship Academy, which is ranked number 1 in the Earth Federation, and which Zian longs for. Early in the morning, candidates from all over the solar system drove their own starships to the prison star under the leadership of their school teachers. And the prison star in the solar system is an Io. Io is a satellite of Jupiter with a diameter of 3,637 kilometers, slightly larger than the Moon. The living environment above is harsh. It was originally regarded as one of the garbage stars, but was later transformed into a prison star. Although it was transformed into a prison star, the various temperatures and environments remained the same, making it unsuitable for life. This is also one of the means to prevent prisoners from escaping. In normal times, prisoners will be imprisoned in prisons during non-college entrance examination periods. Naturally, they can breathe freely in prisons. Therefore, the environment of Io is still so desolate and harsh, and more than 400 active volcanoes may erupt at any time. The battle location this time is on this planet. Candidates from the entire solar system gathered here. At this time, in the control room of Io's prison. Today, a large number of admissions personnel from various schools, as well as principals and teachers from each school have gathered here. Of course, there are also a large number of prison security personnel. These security personnel will be responsible for the security and defense work this time. Of course, it is impossible to really throw in the vast majority of candidates who have never participated in real actual combat and ignore them. The protection of candidates is still quite in place. There will always be guards on the atmosphere. The first is to prevent prisoners from taking the opportunity to escape in a mechanical starship. The second is to be able to rescue candidates immediately when they are in danger. In the prison control room, it was very lively. Those who are acquainted greet each other. In front of them was a huge virtual screen. From this screen, you can monitor everything on the entire planet. The admissions staff will monitor the candidates' performance, their previous grades, and so on, so as to decide whether to enter the special recruitment list. At the same time, Candidate Preparation Area. Candidate Preparation Area, in a very large one-story building. Tens of thousands of candidates gathered here. Their starships are all parked outside. Zian stood quietly in the corner alone, waiting for the exam to start. He came late, and he came by himself, not with the school. Now he can't see those annoying classmates, and he is also happy, fuck. Zian almost swears. I saw Chang Xiaokong, surrounded by a large group of classmates, looking around, looking for something. When he saw Zian, he immediately walked over with a bright smile on his face. Ouch, Master Su, I haven't seen you in 2 months, where did you go to pick up waste? The voice was very loud, deliberately speaking to the people around. Sure enough, upon hearing these words, especially the word scavenger, the people around couldn't help but look this way. His eyes were strange. Scavengers? What's the situation? Among the candidates, are there scavengers? Zian raised his head, his eyes were flat. I went to your house to pick up your mother. But it's a pity that the time to pick it up is too short. No, you were born with an underdeveloped brain. Do you have any other questions? Puff G. I don't know who was the first to hold back. Immediately after, the surrounding laughter boiled up. Chang Xiaokong's expression froze, and a blood red flooded his entire face at a speed visible to the naked eye. Anger, fury, and the loud noises around him all made him burn with anger. You fucking. I'm going to fuck you to death today. Chang Xiaokong was furious, and rushed towards Zian like a wild beast. It's a pity that before he came over, he was immediately stopped by the classmates around him. Don't. Chang Xiaokong, don't be impulsive. You can't do it here. If you do it, you will be disqualified from the special recruitment examination. Calm down. A sound of comfort finally made Chang Xiaokong calm down a little. But Zian suddenly pointed to his face. Come on, beat me up. There was a sneer at the corner of his mouth. It's not that I look down on you, well, I just look down on you. Something without guts, likes to cause trouble, but doesn't have the guts to take on it. I don't know what to pretend for me. If you don't dare to do anything, don't force yourself here, get the hell out. Zian had a cold expression. The students around looked at each other in blank dismay. But I didn't expect it. It's about time. Zian is still so tough. Doesn't he know that Chang Xiaokong is already a third-rank fighter, and the starship is also a third-rank fighter? However, Chang Xiaokong specifically targeted Zian during the assessment. Then Zian will feel uncomfortable. After all, in the assessment, you can do it with each other. Moreover, the organizer also supports hands-on. After the fight, as long as you kill the opponent's points belong to you. This Zian. It's so tough. At this moment, a voice full of surprise suddenly sounded from behind the crowd. Ah. Zian. You are finally here. The words just fell. A tall and graceful figure. So he rushed towards Zian. The sudden voice and figure attracted the eyes of the people around him. After taking a closer look, they were all stunned. But the person who came was a woman with an incomparably beautiful appearance. At this moment, that beautiful cheek was covered with a blush from joy. Chang Xiaokong, who was still full of anger just a second ago, froze for a moment, and immediately put away his anger. But in the next second, he suddenly turned his head to look at Su Zian. Qin Fuyue, one of the top 10 geniuses in the solar system and the #1 beauty in the solar system. No Su Zian? What the hell is this? His eyes were blank. It's not just him. The students around Su Zian gasped one by one. They looked at Qin Fuyue, who was like a girl in the sky, and at Su Zian, a scavenger who had always been an embarrassing figure in the 3rd middle school in their eyes. I can't figure it out, the two of them are in the same world, how did they know each other? They are not from the same world at all, okay? Qin Fuyue. Of course they all knew each other. In other words, there is no student in the solar system who does not know Qin Fuyue. Oh no, Su Zian is an exception. Perhaps Su Zian is really the only one who doesn't know the name Qin Fuyue, and who is among the top 10 geniuses in the solar system. Who is not a genius? None of his business. Why did you come here at this time? I've been looking for you for a long time, and you didn't reply when I sent messages. If it wasn't for the movement here, I wouldn't have found you. Qin Fuyue snorted dissatisfied, and immediately frowned, not waiting for Su Zian to speak. Frowning, he looked at Chang Xiaokong, who was a little dull over there, and frowned and said, "Is this person bothering you?" The look in Chang Xiaokong's eyes was extremely unfriendly. Su Zian was naturally not surprised that Qin Fuyue appeared here. He smiled, shook his head and said, "A fool with a bad brain, don't worry about him." Qin Fuyue gave Chang Xiaokong a cold look, and ignored him. "Fuyue, this is..." At this time a slightly gloomy voice sounded. Hearing the sound and looking at it, it was a tall young man who spoke, quite handsome. There was also a smile on his face, but his eyes were very gloomy, especially when he looked at Su Zian again. A cold light flashed across his eyes. Qin Fuyue frowned again, and said lightly, "Don't call me Fuyue, we don't know each other that well. Secondly, who he is has nothing to do with you." After finishing speaking, he didn't care about the person's more serious gaze, and whether Su Zian agreed or not, he grabbed Su Zian's arm and walked away. Seeing that the two had physical contact, and Qin Fuyue took the initiative, the young man's face changed wildly when he saw the intimacy. Those eyes were so gloomy that they were about to drip water, looking at Su Zian's back Sinsen, as if he wanted to keep Su Zian's appearance firmly in his heart. Being dragged away by Qin Fuyue involuntarily, Su Zian expressed his helplessness. He could see the performance of that young man. Of course, I also understand what the other party means. But it doesn't matter. This time, he himself came for the first place. Kill anyone you meet. It's not easy for anyone to come. Whether it's Chang Xiaokong or the young man just now. Whenever you encounter, Su Zian will kill them all. If you are #1, you will stand at the top standing on everyone's shoulders. If you want to offend, the first person is already offended, but there is nothing more than adding another hatred caused by his intimate behavior with Qin Fuyue. Come on, it's best to come. This also saves me from going around looking for someone to kill. He and Qin Fuyue came to the corner. Although there were many different looks around them, especially the ones full of malicious looks that were not covered up at all, no one came to disturb the two of them. Su Zian, why don't you reply to my message? Qin Fuyue puffed out her cheeks and asked, very unkindly. I send you countless messages and play holographic videos for you every day, but you don't answer any of them. You are so rude. As he was talking, he suddenly remembered that there seemed to be no special relationship between the two, so he changed his mind. Su Zian smiled and said, I have been very busy recently, evolving my own starship, and the communicator is muted every day. Qin Fuyue was immediately surprised and said, has your brilliant number evolved? Your first level brilliant number was already so powerful. Now that you have evolved to the second level, you will definitely get a good ranking. Qin Fuyue thought that the brilliance had only evolved to the second level. Without waiting for Su Zian to explain, she enthusiastically started to spy for Su Zian. I'll tell you. You have to be careful of 3 people in total this time. One is the person just now, named Yu Yang. Although he is very annoying, he is still very powerful. Star Wars simulation has always been the best in the solar system, and he has also participated in real actual combat and suppressed bandits. When he was still a low-level reconnaissance ship, he single-handedly destroyed an intermediate-level reconnaissance ship. Now his starship has reached the 4th level. It is very powerful, and he is the favorite to win this time. So when you meet him, you must be careful. It's best not to confront him head-on for the time being. The second person is called Jean Lusha. He is a crazy militant. Every day, all I can think about is fighting with people and fighting with stars. The day after I awakened and bound to a starship 2 years ago, I went to take on an escort mission. The whole next 2 years were spent fighting, and I almost died several times. Among the people who have truly experienced bloody battles, if it weren't for his extremely low scores in liberal arts, he would definitely be number 1. His starship has evolved to the 4th level half a year ago. When you encounter him, you must be careful and careful. Qin Fuyue finished speaking in one breath. Su Zian waited for a long time, but Qin Fuyue didn't talk about the third person. But looking at Qin Fuyue's little expression of ask me quickly, I suddenly understood something in my heart. He smiled and said, so the third person who needs attention, is you? Seeing that Su Zian asked, Qin Fuyue was instantly satisfied, and her vanity was greatly satisfied by Su Zian. He immediately nodded his head and said triumphantly, yes, yes. Let me tell you, just a few days ago, my starship also successfully evolved to the 4th level. Hee, how about it? It's awesome, but I have to thank you. If you hadn't given me that biological starship last time, I might not have been able to reach the 4th level so quickly. Su Zian shrugged. What you gave me 100,000 yuan was a transaction. Oh, thank you anyway. Qin Fuyue said with a smile, completely losing her previous cold attitude towards Na Yuyang. One sky and one earth. They were also chatting. Time flies by. Special admissions. It also officially begins. Candidates entered their starships, one after another. The rules of the competition system are already very clear. The traitors of the human race imprisoned on the prison planet are even the inhuman race and the Zerg race, and their strength varies from high to low. However, the mechanical starships opened are unified. After all, it's just an assessment, and it's not really to kill these candidates. 90% of the mechanical starships are low-level reconnaissance ships of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd tiers. And the worst kind. After all, a good mechanical starship is used for an exam every year, and the regional federation cannot afford it. If calculated according to the quality of biological starships, most of them are inferior quality, and a small amount of ordinary quality. 90% low-level scout ships, 0.5% Tier 4 scout ships, 0.4% Tier 5 scout ships, and 0.1% Tier 6 scout ships. Basically, there are only a dozen or so Tier 6 scout ships. In addition, there are 2 Tier 7 mechanical reconnaissance ships. They can be said to be the biggest boss. Get rid of them and you will get massive points. And, as long as one of the 7th tier reconnaissance ships is killed, no matter how much the final points are, even if the total points are lower than others, they will be guaranteed a top 10. Besides, it is the competition between candidates. When candidates meet each other, they can fight or choose not to fight, but team formation is absolutely prohibited. Because some candidates are from rich families and have a lot of supporters, it would be very unfair to form a team. Once a team is found, all results will be cancelled immediately. If you fight, the winning side will get all the points of the other side. This is the overall assessment rule. Quite easy to understand, simple and rude. Su Zian, come on. When boarding the ship, Qin Fuyue smiled sweetly at Su Zian, and made a cheering gesture to Su Zian with her small fists clenched. Although she also saw Su Zian's brilliant number. But the biological starship, the small evolution stage, the appearance will not change in any way. Except for the coating, of course. It's about appearance and shape, and nothing will change. Only major evolutions, such as the evolution from reconnaissance ships to frigates, frigates to assault ships, and the appearance of starships, will undergo tremendous changes. Therefore, from the outside, she can't see the current brilliant number at all. Not only is the level already at the third level, but inside, it is already all red excellence. Among the candidates currently present, the starship with the highest quality. It is also the most powerful starship. Even those Tier 4 starships are not enough to look at in front of the brilliant. It's just one level higher than the brilliant, even if the strength span of this level is larger than the span of 1 to 2, 2 to 3. But it's too big. When the blue is of rare quality, the brilliant can destroy the first-order biological frigate of the insectoid race. Now? Speaking of, in the week after the brilliant evolution, Su Zian conducted 2 more Star Wars simulations. Highest record. 1v1 with 93% damage, a Tier 3 frigate of the insects was blown up. Although it has the advantage of familiarity with the battlefield and enemies after resurrection. But it cannot be denied. Now a Tier 1 biological frigate of the Zerg race is in front of Su Zian, and Su Zian is 90% confident in destroying them. So, assessment? Su Zian smiled. It doesn't matter if it's Yu Yang or Jean Lusha. I'm going to be the first in the special admissions exam. At this time, Chang Xiaokong and Su Zian's classmates also saw Su Zian's brilliant number. It was the first time for them to see the evolved brilliant. A little surprised. But then it was a sneer. A starship that evolved from a spaceship that picks up garbage, how good do you expect it to be? It took a lot of evolution points to evolve from a spaceship to a starship, right? After some shit luck, it successfully evolved into a starship, but it was just the most trashy starship. At the first level of the sky, the quality is the most inferior. Who in the school doesn't know about Su Zian's situation? Just because they know it, no one thinks that the quality of the brilliant number will be higher than ordinary quality. Inferior is Su Zian's destiny. Chang Xiaokong became arrogant again. This idiot doesn't remember beatings at all. He pointed at his own extremely showy future star, and then at Su Zian's brilliant, with his thumb pointing down. Then he made a wiping motion on his neck. Su Zian glanced. Then he turned around. This idiot is really stupid. He just couldn't figure it out. They were all people with many years of education. Why would a fool like Chang Xiaokong appear? Not bothering to talk to him anymore, he boarded the brilliance and waited for the assessment to begin. About 10 minutes later. Let's go now, the prisoner will appear in 10 minutes. Pay attention to safety, and if you find yourself invincible, call for help immediately. But calling for help is equivalent to failing the assessment. Now, let's go. Following the examiner's order from everyone's starship communicator, the already impatient starships quickly took off, found the correct direction, and flew in all directions. Io is mountainous and volcanic, and the environment is extremely harsh. But similarly, there are a lot of areas that can provide hiding places, and they are bigger than the moon. There are so many of them, including death row prisoners, and so on. In fact, the probability of encountering each other and fighting is not particularly high. Su Zian also activated the starship and did not rush away from here like others. Yu Zizai piloted the Brilliance, randomly found a position and flew over there. He is waiting. Wait for the idiot to arrive. Because he knows. Yu Yang doesn't know, but this idiot Chang Xiaokong will definitely come to his door and come looking for him. He will definitely come to find himself, the so-called revenge. She wanted to take revenge on herself for oppressing him in all aspects over the years, and she wanted to take revenge on him for always scolding him until he was speechless whenever he made trouble for her. From the moment the assessment begins, the entire IO will be turned into Zian's personal hunting ground. Zian doesn't know how to hide, let alone hide. He will become a top hunter and hunt everywhere. And often less empty. Not surprisingly, will be his first prey. In fact, Chang Xiaokong was far more impatient than Zian thought. Zian had been flying in this direction for less than 3 minutes. A slutty future star, flying towards him at extremely fast speeds. Zian grinned. Zian, became famous in the solar system. Then start from. Let's start by destroying your future star Chang Xiaokong. The assessment officially started, and the images in the monitoring room also began to be transmitted simultaneously. The admissions representatives of the major schools and the senior officials of the various schools watched carefully. There are many pictures. But that's okay. The intelligent optical brain will select some main pictures and put them on the largest picture according to what happened on the planet. It's not. The other students drove the starships around looking for hiding places to hide. The unexpected situation on Zian and Chang Xiaokong's side was undoubtedly locked by the intelligent optical computer immediately, and then the picture was immediately projected on the big screen. By the way, the names and levels of the starships of the two, as well as the identity information of the captains, and their previous achievements were revealed. Huh? Is this a pursuit? Is there going to be a fight at the beginning? It seems that these two little guys have some personal grievances. The battle broke out at the beginning of this year. It's interesting. They are all from Huqing No. 3 Middle School, so it seems that there is indeed a personal grievance. As expected, the situation of the brilliant number and the missing 550 empty number immediately attracted everyone's attention. After reading the information of both parties, they all laughed. However, Zian's brilliant number level information, as well as personal information, still haven't been updated. It's not that he deliberately pretended to be a pig and eat a tiger or something. It is true that there is no time for that. What's more, he thinks that his evolution rate will be very fast if he has enough wealth. Basically, you have to update the information every once in a while, isn't it annoying? When seeing the gap between the starships of the two sides, and one side is still a future star, the information displayed by the other side is actually after the evolution of the spaceship. Everyone in the room couldn't help shaking their heads and laughing. It seems that what kind of ship is this? To be the first candidate to be eliminated today. And among the admissions representatives of each school, a beautiful figure was standing there, with beautiful eyes staring at the screen. Although it is beautiful, but her temperament was so cold that no one dared to approach her. She also seems to be very happy to be idle, staring at the screen, or in other words, staring closely at the brilliant, with a hint of scrutiny in her beautiful eyes. As I said, I will look forward to your performance. I hope you won't let me down. The corners of the exquisite mouth were slightly raised, watching with great interest. In the field, only the principal and teachers of Huqing No. 1 Middle School had a slightly unsightly expression. From the very beginning, the students of our own family started fighting among themselves, fearing that no one would have a good face. It's Chang Xiaokong, his school director father. The expression is ancient and calm. There is even a bit of joy. Because in his opinion, his son's performance will somewhat increase the impression points of the admissions officers of each school. This is a good thing. When thinking like this, on screen, there have been changes. The barren and harsh environment of Io is hundreds of meters above the sky. The brilliant sailed leisurely on the three-dimensional virtual display of the detection radar. The future star of Chang Xiaokong's flamboyant ship has been revealed. Even the opponent's weaknesses and weak areas were revealed. This is the horror and auxiliary function of the red excellent level Shenyang series Star Crystal Light Brain. The Star Crystal optical brain will analyze the opponent's evolutionary focus by itself based on the information scanned by the detection radar, and then analyze the weaknesses, advantages, etc. Although the accuracy rate is not 100%, but it is not low. And it will not have any impact on Zian's own operation. On the contrary, after the analysis, if Zian does not target the analyzed weaknesses and strengths, the star crystal optical brain will conduct certain targeted tests on its own. And these are only a small part of the functions of the star crystal optical brain. I took a few glances. The analyzed data is basically the same as that analyzed by Zian himself. Zian, as a person who has fought life and death in Star Wars simulations for many years, is naturally good at analyzing the strengths and weaknesses of enemy ships. And at this time, less empty number finally come simultaneously in the communicator. There was also Chang Xiaokong's extremely arrogant laughter. Ha ha ha. Run. You run. You are arrogant. Why are you not arrogant anymore? Zian, do you know what I hate about you the most? What I hate the most about you is that you are a scavenger without parents. You always like to pretend to be calm and indifferent. What I don't like the most is your look, and the contemptuous look you gave me when you looked at me. You are a scavenger. The scum at the bottom of society. Even if you get lucky and become the biological captain, you are still the bottom of the captain. Why do you look down on me? What right do you have to look down on me? Ah? Go to hell with me. Chang Xiaokong has been talking to himself, cursing and venting. In the communicator, Zian did not respond the whole time, just when he was stunned for a moment, wondering whether he hadn't turned on the communicator, or Anan blocked him. The always calm voice of Zian, which disgusted him the most, finally came. Are you finished? Seriously, I always thought that it was because of my academic performance and the simulated Star Wars that I have always suppressed you in the past few years that made you so upset with me. I didn't expect what you just said. I didn't expect that my tranquility, my life experience, could be the reason why you hate me, but you're right about one thing. I really despise you from the bottom of my heart. Also, do you guess why I didn't run away when I knew you would come to me? With the last sentence, there was no more sound. Chang Xiaokong frowned violently. In fact, he has always felt that there is something strange, but he can't say exactly what is strange. Now, after a reminder from Zian, I suddenly woke up. Yes. Zian, why don't you run? Still flying slowly, it feels like. It's like waiting for me to come to the door. But why is he? Just when I wanted to refute a few more sentences, I thought it was my victory speech in advance. But suddenly an extreme sense of danger rose in his heart. Immediately after, looking out through the glass of the cockpit, saw a scene that he will never forget. He also heard a sentence that chilled him to the bone. See you. The main gun of the bright cannon had turned around at some point. The dazzling blue light is dazzling and dazzling. I'm sorry to tell you that your idea of teaching me a lesson may not be realized in your lifetime. In addition, I am very happy to tell you that you will be the first to be eliminated. Are you wondering why? You will know soon. Accompanied by Zian's last word. Just listen to the sound of whoosh. The cannon's main gun fired the first cannon. One shot. With extremely precise, extremely accurate, it bombarded the energy shield in front of Chang Xiaokong. And his so-called rare quality energy shield just blocked it for a while, and was penetrated by the pulse sender. After that, I hit hard again. Off in the upper left of the empty cab, according to 3.7, Zian's knowledge of future stars. The communicator of future star is installed on the upper left of the cab. Of course there are exceptions, but those are all after great evolution. And even if the vast majority of people carry out great evolution for the future star, very few people will change the installation location of the communicator. Boom. A sound. The position of the communicator was directly blown up. Just now Zian did have the ability to meet and instantly kill. He can't do that. After all, it was just a special recruitment assessment. It's not a real life and death fight. The rules of the special move assessment are absolutely not allowed to kill the opponent when your strength exceeds the opponent by a lot. If you really do that, it will be a small matter to lose your qualification for the assessment, and you will have to be arrested by the authorities. So, it is impossible to kill Chang Xiaokong. B. Chang Xiaokong is his future star. I will blow him up today. I said, lost the communicator. Chang Xiaokong lost the opportunity to call for help. If he couldn't take the initiative to call for help, those guards would only take action when his life was really threatened. Zian. Before the examiner decides that Chang Xiaokong's life is under real threat, he will blow up his Xiaokong number completely. Kill cannot be killed. But blowing up his Xiaokong account. Zian thought that this might be more uncomfortable than killing him. Let's not talk about such a high-value starship. Just talking about the extremely expensive evolutionary value, even if a second starship is bound later, it will greatly delay Chang Xiaokong's future development progress. To put it more simply, after losing the early evolution value, only by killing other biological starships can he obtain the evolution value that provides starship evolution. This delay is likely to take several years. His college entrance examination this year is a no-brainer. Maybe after rebinding the starship, he can be admitted to those lowest-level starship universities, but it is impossible for Starship University, which is slightly better, to accept him. Isn't it more comfortable than killing Chang Xiaokong? One shot shattered the Xiaokong's communicator. Zian started his devilish display. A round of shells began to fire. Dedicated to engines, main guns, secondary guns, and anti-aircraft guns. Even if he had 10,000 chances to directly attack Chang Xiaokong's cockpit, Zian just wouldn't. 02, not even near the cockpit. I'm afraid that the examiner will judge that Chang Xiaokong's life is threatened, and Chang Xiaokong was stunned for a moment. Finally reacted. Suddenly angry. He didn't even make a move yet Zian actually made the first move? How dare he? Enraged, he launched a frenzied counterattack. Only a flash of doubt in my heart. Why can Zian's main cannon shells penetrate his energy shield at once, and even smash his communicator along the way? His energy shield and hull are of blue rare quality. Besides, why did he want my communicator? Don't you want to hear me scolding him? But only for a moment. He was quickly filled with anger, but he kept hitting. He finally noticed something was wrong. Every attack he makes, they can all be easily dodged by Zian. Yes. Posted every. The two sides clashed for almost 2 minutes. He fired a lot of rounds. Whether it is the main gun or the secondary gun. Actually. Even. 1. Send. All. No. Hit. Hit. In contrast, Zian's brilliant. Every main gunshot. Every secondary gun. Finally, even the anti-aircraft guns joined the attack. All of them hit his Xiaokong number firmly. No matter how he avoids it, these cannonballs seem to have eyes, and they all hit. Sometimes even on a whim, he suddenly shifted a few tens of meters to the side. However, Zian seems to have unlocked the plug-in. When his Xiaokong number drifted past, it just happened to hit those shells head-on. It looked as if he was going to pick up these shells specially. He even had an idea in his mind. He seems to have some talent as a goalkeeper in football. With him around, no balls are brought in. There was a roar. There were explosions. In the cockpit, the optical brain kept issuing warnings and flashing red warning lights. And the ever-decreasing completeness. Just 2 minutes. The Xiaokong, which he was proud of, was beaten by Zian so that the damage to the hull exceeded 60%. He panicked. He finally panicked. He knows. This time, I met a devil. How dare you think too much? Don't even think about it. Turn around and run. What disgust, what anger, what hatred. Everything turned into panic. Horror from the bottom of my heart. Run. This moment. In the monitoring room, it's so quiet that you can hear a pin drop. There are hundreds of people in a huge monitoring room. Not even breathing could be heard. They all looked at this extremely weird scene in the picture with their mouths wide open, speechless, for a long time. One-sided murder. A third-level, rare-quality blue future star was pressed against the ground by a first-level starship that evolved from a spaceship. This visual impact. It's really shocking. But what scares everyone the most? Or Zian's Star Wars ability, even leaving aside the differences in starship levels and quality between the two sides. Even if the Shaokong given to Chang Shaokong evolves to the level of a high-level reconnaissance ship, I'm afraid that the final result will still be that I will be beaten by the brilliant number. There is no way to resist. There is no way to fight back. The Star Wars level of both sides is completely different. This brilliant ship is definitely more than the first level. Suddenly an admissions teacher spoke in a deep voice, his eyes shining brightly as he stared at the brilliant number on the screen without moving. The light in his eyes is as bright as two searchlights. It's definitely more than the first level, including the quality, it will definitely not be low. These are secondary, the most important thing is his Star Wars ability. I can be 100% sure that this man must have seen blood in his hands, and more than once. It makes me feel, even like an old soldier who has been fighting on the battlefield for many years. So you feel the same way, but his information doesn't show it like this. It seems like it's just talent. There were endless exclamations. A pair of eyes, shining wildly. Let's look at Zian's liberal arts scores. Number 1 in Lake City. Earth second. 4th in the solar system. Never think that liberal arts scores are not important. Liberal arts are divided into scientific research, evolution, culture, etc. Liberal arts are the cornerstone of human progress. Without the cornerstone of liberal arts, where would so much ultra-high technology come from? Where do all these high-tech starships come from? And the role of liberal arts for captains. It means being able to have adequate handling methods when encountering various emergencies while sailing in the universe. As well as knowing which places in the universe are inaccessible, which celestial bodies are extremely dangerous, and how to deal with them if encountered, etc. There are also starships that have been damaged or even sunk. You are stranded on a deserted star. How should you survive in the harsh environment of this deserted star and buy precious time for rescue? Now it seems. Aren't liberal arts still important? Quite important. Fortunately, it may be because he has been born in 2 lifetimes and his mental strength is far beyond that of ordinary people. Even though Zian has less time to study than others, many contents can be understood in one click. This Zian is worthy of our Federation Xingyao Academy. Suddenly, a middle-aged man announced loudly. 367, and hearing his words, the senior officials and teachers from various schools in the solar system present all had their eyes fixed. This is just the beginning. There is a special enrollment. Moreover, it is also one of the top 10 top universities in the Earth Federation, the Federation Star Academy. B. What shocked them even more was yet to come. A middle-aged man, surrounded by stars like a crescent moon, couldn't help but snorted when he heard the words of the admissions representative of the Federation of Stars and Stars College. What do you want from the Federation Starship Academy? This boy's liberal arts scores and Star Wars level are so high, he should belong to our Federation Imperial City Starfleet Academy. Isn't the Federal Imperial City Starship Academy amazing? This Zian was born to be our Torch Galaxy Academy. Oh, did he write your name on his forehead? Admissions representatives from each school left one after another. Even the top-ranked college in the Earth Federation, which Zian really wanted to join, the admissions representatives from the Federal Imperial City Starfleet Academy started to compete, because the eyes of these admissions representatives are more sinister than the last. Everyone can see it. Zian's starship level may not be the highest in this assessment. 18. His talent and potential are absolutely unmatched. Even if they haven't seen the performance of the others, they dare to make such a conclusion. Because of the battle taking place at this time, the Star Wars strength shown by Zian. It's really amazing, amazing. Coupled with Zian's identity and background, he can reach such a point and achieve. It goes even further to illustrate his outstanding talent. At first glance, he looks like a super genius. Are these students out of their minds if they don't rush to accept it? The admissions representatives are scrambling over here. In the screen, the battle is still going on. No matter how the Shao Kahn escapes, it cannot escape the pursuit of the brilliant. The engine power of the Shao Kahn has been adjusted to the maximum, but the brilliant is still close behind. Look at the appearance of the brilliant. Looks like there's still room left. Shao Kahn was being destroyed bit by bit and quickly. On sight, Chang Xiaokong's father, whose face was already extremely gloomy, couldn't bear it anymore. The voice was so loud that it directly overwhelmed the admissions representatives. Examiner, I think my son Chang Xiaokong has been threatened with his life. Why don't you ask someone to save him? Chang Xiaokong's father asked with anger in his voice. Of course he could see Zian's intentions. Zian did not dare to kill. But Zian clearly wants to blow up his son's Shao Kahn number. How vicious is the intention? Without the Shao Kahn, although I can immediately buy another starship for my son. B. The lack of evolutionary value. Even if he continues to hunt pirates with his wife and Chang Xiaokong, but the evolutionary speed is greatly delayed, he will definitely not run away. Dr. You are such an easy pirate hunter. Several times, he and his wife almost didn't come back. Calculated in this way, Shao Kahn number is gone, and I want to re-evolve to the current level 3. At least it will take at least half a year to a year. The most important thing is, do you really think that the second binding can be the same as the first binding? The first time is always the best. The second binding, the potential will be greatly limited. The degree of compatibility with the starship will permanently become 90%, which is 10% less than the first binding. Don't look at only 10%, you will know when you really fight that even a 1% gap may determine whether you can win or not. In addition, after the second binding, the evolution value obtained by killing the enemy will be reduced by 100%. Whether it is the evolution of the starship parts or the overall evolution of the starship, the evolution value that needs to be spent is increased by 10%. Besides, all in all, too many restrictions. The second binding is equivalent to completely cutting off the possibility of Chang Xiaokong becoming a top powerhouse. 5. What if the starship is destroyed again? Triple binding? Hearing Chang Xiaokong's father's questioning, the venue was quiet for a while. The chief examiner discussed with more than a dozen other examiners, and unanimously decided I'm sorry, Yikong also has a certain counterattack history. There are not many examples of desperate counterattacks. So for the sake of fairness and justice, we can't make the decision to admit defeat for Shao Kahn. If he has no intention of admitting defeat, it will be unfair to him personally and the rest of the candidates. Hear this. Chang Xiaokong's father was so angry that his eyes almost popped out. Pointing at the screen, he asked loudly, how can you fight back and tell me? And how did he admit defeat himself? Didn't you see that damn candy? The communicator of the Shao Kahn was knocked out with the first shot. The examiner looked at him. He said with a serious expression, this is our decision. If you think there is any objection, please complain to us after the exam. In addition, it is strictly forbidden to make loud noises here. If you continue to make trouble like this unreasonably, we will have to clear you out. If you want to continue watching, please don't disturb our supervision. Chang Xiaokong's father was so angry that his lungs hurt, but at this moment, he didn't dare to say anything more. He could only grit his teeth and stare at the screen, staring at the continued pursuit, chasing after his son like a bereaved dog. The cold light in his eyes flashed continuously. Finally, accompanied by a brilliant firework-like splendor, the future star Chang Kong, which is worth 20 million yuan and has a total value of more than 30 million yuan after evolving to the third stage, exploded in the air like fireworks. Also at this moment, one of the examiners immediately issued an order, "Guards, immediately rescue the captain of the Chongkong." Yes. Immediately, 2 starships flew towards the place where the Chongkong County exploded. Huching number 3 middle school area. The rest of the executives looked at the screen, and then at Chong Xiaokong and his father, Chong Erlu, who suddenly became expressionless. No one who is knowledgeable speaks. And Chong Erlu cast a final cold glance at the brilliant. Nothing was said. Just turn around and leave. However, few people cared about his departure. Debate. Start again. Brilliant, in the cab. Zian grinned so happily. Although there are no points for blowing up the Xiaokong number. Because less empty number itself has no points. B. Has evolutionary value. The Xiaokong is a real biological starship. If it explodes, it will naturally have an evolution value. And not a lot. A full 29 points. At the same time, it is enough to prove that the quality of Xie Kongho is not bad. Of course, the most important thing is he feels great. The pores all over the body are open. Zoomed in image from the splendor. You can clearly see Chong Xiaokong's pale face inside the glass mask of the helmet of the space armor when a starship connects him to the hatch in the air. That terrified face. That ashen face. That unbelievable face. With a slight smile, he turned the starship and galloped in a certain direction at will. The only thing he regrets is that the wreckage of Chong Xiaokong's starship. He can't search for it. This is not allowed. Looked at the time. At this point, about 10 minutes have passed. Those prisoners have all been released, driving the starship to search for their traces. As for why these prisoners are obedient, it's very simple. Disobedience is death. Although obedient is also dead, but in their view, there is a chance to blow up or even kill the starships of the geniuses of the human race. Of course, no one would fail to do so. But they dare not team up. Because the prison will supervise the whole process. Whenever it is found that they form a team to hunt and kill candidates, the guards will kill them first. So there is no need to worry about this. Yo? Someone has already killed it? Zhao Nua's. Zian looked in surprise at the three-dimensional picture projected by the optical brain next to him. In the three-dimensional picture, there is a frame, which displays a lot of information. This is the standings. The number of points each candidate has obtained and the ranking will be displayed on the top. He killed Xiaokong, but because he had no points, his personal points were still 0. At this time, the ranking list changed, and several names jumped to the front. 1. Golden Quicksand, 22. 2. Yu Yang, 21. 3. After one glance, he withdrew his gaze. Because from now on, here, it will be completely turned into my personal hunting ground. Geniuses. Are you all ready? Zian laughed loudly, have no scruples, and drive a bright horse. Start rampaging across the planet. Hide? Hidden? No. All I want is for you to kill me. The bright is because of the previous battle with the Xiaokong. As a result, many people paid attention to his movements. Even though his picture was shrunk due to other people's battles, many people still locked their eyes on the past. The corners of their mouths twitched a lot when they saw the brilliant being rampaging here as if entering no man's land. This brilliant number. A little bit arrogant. Suddenly, I saw the cannon, which was driving unscrupulously, suddenly turned its muzzle, and fired a few shots in a certain direction. First a shot of the main gun, followed by 10 secondary guns. Go on. I saw a mechanical starship hiding behind the mountain peak in the direction that the brilliant was attacking. This mechanical starship is obviously ambushing the brilliant. However, before the candy entered their ambush circle, it was bombarded by several shells. At last. Then they saw a scene that shocked the people who were paying attention to the brilliant. One shot from the main gun. The energy shield of this low-level reconnaissance ship was pierced with extreme precision, and a hole was pierced in its cockpit, by the way. The remaining 20 secondary artillery shells. There was nothing wrong with it, and it got into the hole made by the main gun as accurately as a missile. Once again, I saw the gorgeous scene of fireworks. Brilliant number. But it didn't even stop. Just hit 860 and fired more than 20 shells. Easily solved this ambush mechanical starship and continued to move forward. 15. It's like doing a very trivial thing. Even the intelligent optical computer failed to project the picture here on the big screen in time, when the intelligent optical computer projected the picture on the can side on the big screen. The sight to see. It's the back view of the Brilliance leaving gracefully, and the scene of the mechanical starship exploding. Many people who didn't pay attention to the brilliant account were dumbfounded. This intelligent optical brain. What's the matter? After all the battles are over, you only put on the screen? But soon they understood why this happened. The intelligent optical brain directly replayed the battle scene just now on the Brilliant. Finished reading. Everyone was silent. You look at me, I look at you. Especially in the eye sockets of those admissions representatives, each and every one of them became extremely serious. He glared at the other admissions representatives viciously. What do they mean? It is very clear. Zian. They have to get it. Evildoer. Absolute monster-level genius. How outrageous is this level of Star Wars? So far away. The main gun and the auxiliary gun are connected in a straight line. Accuracy is as easy as measurement to solve the opponent. This talent, really incredible. Definitely the next top 10 talent in the Commonwealth of Regions. If such an evildoer is not brought to his own school, the senior officials of the school will find out. They will be sprayed with blood. There is only one exception. She also watched Zian's series of operations in shock, and her heart was extremely shaken. That time, just listening to Qin Fuyue's description, I was so shocked when I saw it with my own eyes. At this time, after witnessing it with my own eyes, I really understood how terrifying Zian's talent is, and how powerful his potential is. Her beautiful eyes sparkled, but she didn't know what she was thinking. After easily killing the enemy target, Zian casually turned his head to look at the standings. Really? His points also rose, and reached 27 points. It climbed to the first position in an instant. What he killed just now was a Tier 3 mechanical reconnaissance ship. So the score is much higher. But soon, they were squeezed down. The geniuses of these solar systems are not all in vain. Fair enough, only in this way, when we meet, kill them, and then I can get more points suddenly. Good thing. Continue to walk leisurely. Suddenly. On the detection radar, a target was scanned again. And the analysis of the star crystal optical brain shows that it is a biological starship. That must be the candidate's fault. I pursed my mouth. Zian did not take the initiative to attack and kill the opponent. Although blowing up the candidate's starship will indeed bring him a lot of evolutionary value income. But invisibly, they will offend them, as well as the schools and families behind them. There is no need for that. But they took the initiative to attack themselves. That would certainly be different. Take the initiative to attack yourself, and then blow up their starships yourself. That can only show that you are incompetent. And this is the reason why Zian flies here so swaggeringly. It's one thing to draw those prisoners to attack you. Attracting candidates to attack themselves is actually the main reason. In this way, because of swaggering, he passed by the sky where the other party was hiding, not under attack. Zian frowned. The Brilliant, which was going forward, immediately turned around and passed over him for the second time. Still did not take the initiative to attack himself. Cut, cowards. Zian pursed his lips. Without seducing this person again, Sure ran away. This scene was seen again by everyone who followed Zian. All of them were speechless. Seeing for the first time this kind of candidates. What is Zian thinking? Can they not know? To lure these candidates to take the initiative to attack him, he has a reason to blow up the opponent's starship. That's all evolutionary value. But if he directly blows it up, he will definitely be hated by countless people and become the favorite of all doctors. This kid. Talented, yet such a dog, something. The corners of the mouths of many school principals and high-level officials twitched when they saw this situation. They decide. When the truce tonight. They will definitely tell all candidates to pay attention to the bright number, and never be seduced by the bright number. Otherwise, being eliminated is not a big deal, and the loss of the starship is the real injury. In fact, not many can withstand the seduction of Zian. This is not even 20 minutes. When Zian passed by a biological starship, this examinee blatantly launched an attack on the brilliant. Speaking of which, this candidate is not weak, a Tier 3 reconnaissance ship. But it's just that the brain may be somewhat difficult to use. Neither the detection radar nor the locking radar of your starship can scan and lock on to the opponent's starship. Don't you understand what's going on? In this case, you also take the initiative to launch an attack. It can only be said, no one can stop you from committing suicide. As expected, this battle duration is shorter. Because the candidate's starship is only of excellent quality overall, not as good as Shao Kong. Zian is still the same. First, the communicator was smashed with one shot. In less than 5 minutes, the starship was directly blown up. The remaining candidate, with a face full of flesh, with a suspicious expression on his face, was picked up by the starship of the guards. Looking at the harvest, evolution point credit, 24 points. Zian grinned so much from laughing. What kind of special exam is this? This is clearly heaven. His own paradise, over a volcano on Io. At this time, the volcano was still spewing lava, which was shocking to watch. A mechanical starship fell from the sky. The hull was in tatters and was completely out of shape. The people inside obviously couldn't survive. On its other side, a future star is floating quietly. Inside the cockpit of the future star, Yu Yang frowned and looked at the standings, his expression gloomy and uncertain. In his eyes, he was still a little dazed and confused. Because of this ranking list, he felt that he couldn't understand it. Even feel, is there some loophole in the smart optical brain that causes problems with the ranking of points? 1. Zian, 774. 2. Golden Quicksand, 91. 3. Yu Yang, 90. 4. Qin Fuyue, 77. What the hell is going on with Nima? He had never heard of Zian before. But, now he knows who he is. It's the same Mao Jun who wrote about Sugua being intimate with 10 hours ago. Later, Qin Fuyue took the other party aside to talk, and he soon learned Zian's identity. Didn't his classmates say that he is a scavenger? Did he wake up just over a month or less than 2 months ago? When he awakened, wasn't he bound to a garbage-picking spaceship? So, what's going on with these 774 points now? The assessment started 10 hours ago. He was always alert. He is right to be confident in his own strength, but don't forget that there are also 6th-level mechanical reconnaissance ships here, and even 2 enemy 7th-level mechanical reconnaissance ships. He thought it was okay to hit the 6th level. But the 7th level, he felt like he couldn't beat it. Therefore, he is still relatively cautious. It took 10 hours and 3 mechanical starships to gain so many points. So, what did Zian do? Didn't he kill a Tier 7 mechanical reconnaissance ship? Gritting his teeth. The truce phase will soon begin. After entering the truce stage, you must ask your teacher to see what happened. He didn't believe that Zian could be so powerful. I can't even believe that the gap between the two sides can be so big. The other side, on a shining starship, Shining Star. It is the high-end starship of the Mechanical Empire, just like the future starship of the Universe Technology Empire. The Mechanical Empire is one of the 12 superpower groups in the universe. Mainly produces starships, weapons, armor, etc. The high-end starship under his name, Shining Star, is no worse than the Future Star in terms of combat effectiveness and quality. However, the appearance of Shining Star is more rugged and not as sci-fi looking as Future Star. In addition, Shining Star pays more attention to defense and attack. Future Star is more balanced in all aspects, but more luxurious and luxurious. Even so, many people still like the rougher Shining Star, such as Golden Quicksand. Jean Lucia is a very tall and burly young man, with a height of 2.37 meters. The muscles on his body are very obvious, and he has a face full of flesh. Looking at him, you feel that this person is not easy to mess with. But Jean Lucia also had a confused expression on his face at this moment. Looking at the ranking list blankly, his mind seemed to be a little confused. Suddenly he raised his hand and slapped himself hard on the head, blinked his eyes desperately, and shed tears again. Still the same. Is there a bug in this thing? On the Huiyue. Qin Fuyue's little mouth opened slightly, and her beautiful face once again showed the expression that she had on that day, as if she had seen a god. As expected of you. Qin Fuyue murmured in a low voice, her tone full of disbelief and admiration. She is hard to imagine. How could a second-tier reconnaissance ship earn more than 700 points in 10 hours? No. I have to work hard. Only in this way can I become a good friend. Well. A good friend. Qin Fuyue clenched her fists tightly, her almond-shaped eyes bright. Restart the Huiyue immediately and continue setting off. This moment. The entire monitoring room. It has been so quiet that a needle can be heard. Candidates do not know. They will not know. It is precisely because they know that they all feel that their minds seem to be a little confused. Are you sure this Zian Zhente Miao was awakened less than 2 months ago? Are you sure it's not a veteran soldier who came down from the battlefield? What did they see? Just 20 minutes ago. The Splendid flew in the sky of Io like that arrogantly and domineeringly. How could it not be noticed by the prisoners? This is not. It was targeted by a Tier 7 scout ship. I don't know if it's good luck or bad luck. With such a large area of Io, it is possible to encounter only 2 Tier 7 scout ships. Many people felt extremely pity for Zian when they saw this. Even some admissions representatives have already frowned. Because it seems to them, Zian's behavior like this is indeed a bit too arrogant. According to them, Zian felt that he was very powerful and very talented. So the mood drifted. I don't know how high the sky is. No, I met a Tier 7 reconnaissance ship. It's best to escape. I'm afraid I won't be able to escape, and the starship will be blown up in the end. Almost no one thought that Zian would be able to defeat such a fantasy when he encountered this Tier 7 scout ship. It would be nice to be able to escape. Because there are many people with vicious eyes present. They can see that. Although Zian's brilliant ship is not the first rank shown in the information. But it's only the 3rd order at most, not more than the 4th order. Low level, hit high level, how many people can do it? Not to mention a student who has just awakened not long ago. Yes, it is true that his talent is quite frightening. No matter how scary it is, it's not, what the hell? The idea is still there. Then they saw a scene that left everyone dumbfounded. Brilliant number. After encountering this Tier 7 reconnaissance ship, instead of running away, he took the initiative to meet him. There's no after that. The whole process. Not to mention the kind that is pressed into the soil and beaten violently, but it's almost the same as a father beating a son, an adult beating a child. This is outrageous. Those amazing dodges, predictive attacks, and precise attacks. It seems that Star Wars has been turned into a violent art. While strolling in the courtyard, his own energy shield has only dropped by 37%. Destroy a mechanical reconnaissance ship up to the 7th rank. With a total of 500 points, Zian, who already had more than 200 points, instantly reached an astonishing 700 points. Everyone. One counts as one. Everyone was dumbfounded. A big monitoring room, needle drop can be heard. The eyes of those admissions representatives radiated like searchlights. But it seems to completely melt Zian and his brilliant number on the screen. That ferocious expression, the longing look. To eat Zian alive. Haitang was short of breath and clenched her fists tightly. Beautiful eyes, but abnormal identification. This moment. She made up her mind to die. No matter what the cost. Zian. They can only be from her Shenzhou Academy. No one can take it away. Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.